Happy January 24th. JLD here, and welcome to MicroStrategy Today. And wow, what a week. SOB 121 was rescinded. Some other unbelievably exciting things happened this week. We go through them all. Q4 earnings call expectations. I talk about that. We also go through three great video clips, two by Michael Saylor about the three catalysts that will take Bitcoin to 5 million per Bitcoin. And oh, by the way, all three of those catalysts have happened. And then we go a little deeper with a video on what SOB 121 actually means. And if you want some good karma for the MSTR stock today, hit the like button, comment below where you're watching from. It's going to give great karma to the stock today. Let's go. And of course, this is not financial advice, and I want you to do your own research before making any decisions. And let's dive on into the call today. Quick shout out to my X account. I just crossed 2,000 followers. So if you are watching these videos and you want MicroStrategy daily information, go ahead and follow me, MicroStrategy. I would love that for sure. First post of the day is from Matt. This is huge. This is all the market needs for its next leg higher. $750 MSTR incoming. Q1 or April, wink. And this is off of Michael Saylor post. SOB 21 has been rescinded, allowing banks to custody Bitcoin. And this is such a huge catalyst. We've been talking about this for so long. It is finally official. And we talk later on in this video about why that's important. Let's talk about David Bailey sharing what happened just 2 days in. 1, free Ross. 2, repeal SOB 121. 3, establish a digital asset, Bitcoin stockpile. 4, end Operation Choke Point. 5, no CBDC. 6, melted Gary Gensler. 7, digital asset subcommittee chaired by Lummis. 2 days in. Things are moving fast. Sometimes it feels like we're grinding, and sometimes it feels like we're just hovering and treading water. But listen, gradually and then suddenly, that's what's happening here. Let's talk about this post by Matt. He says, MSTR is looking to hoover up 80,000 to 100,000 Bitcoin by the end of Q1. You stay bearish, I'll stay long, because there's 5.4 billion left in the ATM, 2 billion in preferred stock coming up, room for up to 4.6 billion of converts, which is likely going to be oversubscribed. This is, again, 80,000 to 100,000 Bitcoin. When I started buying MSTR, there was a total of 100,000 Bitcoin in the treasury. It's crazy how this is picking up speed. You have to be fired up. MicroStrategist says, after the Q3 earnings call announcements, MSTR rose from 185 to 267 the day before the Q3 call on 30 October 24. Then it dipped to 220 on 4 November, but exploded to 543 on 21 November. I was along for this ride, by the way. I remember after that Q3 earnings call, I said to myself, A, I cannot possibly own enough MSTR. It's impossible. How do I buy more? And I did. And I said, B, I need to start a show about MicroStrategy because there's going to be unbelievable content and excitement over the next multiple decades when it comes to this company. This is a generational wealth opportunity of our lifetime. I truly believed that then, and I believe that even more now. And I've been just a part of this journey right here. The ups, the downs, the up, the down, the up, the down. I've been along for the ride. It has been a roller coaster, my friends. But wow, the volatility is why this is such an opportunity, as we've described on previous videos. Volatility is vitality. It is a feature, not a bug. Man, it's been a fun ride. And that's why I cannot wait for the Q4 earnings call. I've talked about this a few times. I think this is must-watch content. The Q4 earnings call in early February is going to be fantastic. We'll be covering that for sure, but expect Michael Saylor to put on yet another absolute clinic. Let's move on to Chris. He says, MicroStrategy has 4 main capital levers it can use to pursue his Bitcoin strategy. 1, traditional debt, which involves borrowing at fixed interest rates. 2, convertible debt, which involves issuing debt that can be converted into shares. 3, equity issuance, which involves selling common and preferred stock. 4, at the market, ATM offerings, which involves selling shares directly into the market. At any given time, MicroStrategy can pull whichever lever maximizes shareholder value. And guess what? Michael Saylor is always pulling the levers that maximizes shareholder value. Your value, my value. This is what Michael Saylor is doing. He is doing things to maximize the shareholders' long-term value, not our short-term value. That doesn't matter. Our long-term value is what matters. He is working hard for us every single day to do this. So here's the chart, the graphic: 1 traditional debt lever, 2 convertible debt lever, 3 equity issuance, and 4 ATM offerings. So a lot of great levers. And this is another reason why I'm excited for the earnings call in early February, because I have a sneaking suspicion Michael Saylor has a couple treats in store for us. Bitcoin Mindset shares: I only own Bitcoin and MSTR because it's the only edge I feel I have in the entire financial markets. Diversification is acknowledging you don't know what you're doing. And BitStrategy posted below, which I loved: only one side of Samurai's katana is sharpened to a razor's edge. One edge is all you need. That's it. Do you feel like you have an edge when it comes to Bitcoin and MSTR? I hope you do, because if you're watching this video, you have that edge. You do have that edge. Now let's use that edge. And now we're going to be moving into those 3 videos that I talked about. One's going to be talking a little bit about SOB 21, giving a good analogy, and then 2 classic Michael Saylor videos where he's specifically talking about the catalysts that are going to bring Bitcoin to 5 million per Bitcoin. And guess what? All 3 of those catalysts have been checked. Clear skies ahead, with a lot of roller coaster action in between, for sure, because that's the path that we chose, with the amazing volatility of Bitcoin and the even more amazing volatility of MicroStrategy. So, gentlemen, take it away.
Now we're hearing, which I've heard a couple times now in backroom conversations, that day one SAB 121 is going away, and that is a major catalyst for Bitcoin. I think that Bitcoin can probably get to 500,000 on its own without SAB 121 going away, but it's SAB 121 going away that really makes the upside unlimited, because you really do need to be able to borrow against your Bitcoin and not have to sell it to do the things you want to do in life in order for this asset to really explode. If perfect analogy would be homes, right? Like, what would home prices be if you couldn't get a mortgage against them?
It's if I call my broker and say, buy $10 million of this, and they say, you sure, boss, click, and it's done, then you start to see adoption. And when the company that adopted it announces that they just made twice as much in their earnings for the quarter as they used to because of it, it's like, well, then buy more of that stock. And when the mayor of Miami or the mayor of New York City or the governor of Texas says to his treasurer, I think we ought to have some Bitcoin, the treasurer says, okay, no problem. I'll let Citigroup or Bank of America or Morgan Stanley know, and they'll do it. Click, and it's done. Then you're adopting. But when the governor says to the treasurer, buy 10 billion, and the treasurer says, there's not a single bank in the US that will sell that to us, it's like, well, I guess we're too early. And it's the same thing with you putting an elevator into your house, or electricity, or how about running water? Why didn't people put running water in their house, in 1880? It's because it was like you had to be rich, and it was expensive, and 1 in 100 people had it, and the guy that's building your house didn't know how to do it. He'd never done it before, and so these things get embraced as everybody in the society gets comfortable with the new technology. And generally it's like a 30-year generational shift. In year 1, no one's doing it. You see those pictures of New York City in 1905, no cars. 1915, everybody's got a car. It's like, well, what did it take? It took this exponential set of processes and support for this to happen. And the same is going on with Bitcoin right now.
First of all, it's going up by a factor of 10, whether they fix any of the stuff, right? It's going to go it's going to be a grind up by a factor of 10, just because gold is broken and Bitcoin's going to replace gold. And now everybody in the universe knows they need a non-sovereign store of value in the form of a bearer instrument. So now they're looking, the amount of stories for last year, people said inflation may be coming. We're not sure. Now the mainstream narrative is flipped to inflation is here. You need an inflation hedge. So it's going to grind up to replace gold. It'll go to $500,000 a coin, regardless of whether they fix these things. But there are three things that are massive catalysts that cause an acceleration. And I don't think that those three things don't take us to 500,000. They take us to 5 million a coin, right? Those three things are a spot ETF where someone can go ahead and buy $100 million of Bitcoin, buy a security, an ETF security. I think that's one. Two is your bank is going to custody it for you and lend against it. And three is I can mark it up or mark it down on my balance sheet based on fair value. Pari passu. It'll be pari passu to the way I'd handle Apple stock, or at least that good. If you have property with fair value accounting, by the way, it becomes pari passu to the way you'd handle treasury bonds on a treasury balance sheet. Treasuries are better than stocks because treasury is property, whereas a stock is a security, and you're capped out at 40% of your balance sheet as security. So it would be a major, major breakthrough if you saw any of those three things. And I'll end with this one observation. I tweeted this last week, but I think it's very powerful. It's if the banks can hold this stuff on their balance sheet, then a whole new class of investors are going to buy it. People are going to put in billion and multi-billion-dollar orders to buy it as a treasury asset. Nobody's going to sell it because there's no reason to sell it if you can borrow against it at LIBOR plus or SOFR plus 50 basis points, right? So you'll be borrowing against Bitcoin at SOFR plus 50 or SOFR plus 100 basis points. No one's ever going to sell it. And then, as I joked, you won't be able to afford it. I mean, you will be able to afford it, but everybody gets Bitcoin at the price they deserve. When the banks normalize it and you can draw a $100 million credit line at 100 basis points from an FDIC insured bank, at that point, right, we're going to blow through the market cap of gold by a factor of 10.
Right.
So I think the best thing is those three things are highly likely to happen. I don't know if they happen in 36 months or 24 months or 12 months, but I would be shocked if it's more than 36 months. And I hope, guys, it doesn't happen in 12 months, because my view is the longer it takes, the more progressive the grind, the more time I have to buy more of it.
And there you have it, another episode of MicroStrategy Today. If you want MicroStrategy to have some good karma, the stock, hit the like button, put a comment below about where you're watching from. That's going to be good karma for MSTR today. The market hasn't opened yet. Things are looking good. We'll see where it goes. Make sure you realize this is not financial advice. And hey, I'm going to have a couple of things popping up right here, a subscribe button right below me, and a great playlist over here, which is all about mastering MicroStrategy, some good videos there. And until then, remember, there is no second best.
What's the second best? There is no second best.